Are you ready for some football?
I've been ready, brother. I've been waiting all summer long, following every training camp update, and the time is nigh.
It's football season, baby. It's football
Woo!
season. 8 days away, I think. No, less than that.
Less than that,
We
man.
are 6 days away from
6 days
Green
away.
Bay Packer football. 3 days away
Yes,
from
sir.
NFL football.
Which what a shitty opener, man. Bucks
I know.
Cowboys. Bucks are gonna tear them apart.
I know they are. I know they are. But we're gonna watch regardless. So,
But
but
dude, yeah, we got a pretty good opener. We were traveling down to New Orleans, but the Hurricane Ida um forced the game to be moved. We're going to be playing in Jacksonville, Florida.
yep,
Word is they're going to be, Packers fans are scooping up tickets.
love it. I love it. So, point of this podcast is we're doing our annual season prediction. Last year was a lot of fun being able to predict it. We were pretty close on our picks. And then we'll probably go back and rewatch this again after the season's over and compare and contrast and see how we did. So we gave a quick brief look already, and I'm excited to go through this and just rack up them Packer wins already, man. Just put them in the win column.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be an interesting season. We got two years in a row on the doorstep of the Super Bowl. Rodgers coming off an MVP, obviously all the offseason trauma. Then we got David Bakhtiari on the PUP for the first 6 weeks. Two rookies starting on the offensive line, the new defensive coordinator. There are a lot of storylines this season, and just a brutal schedule. Uh, but I'm still excited to jump into this. I think both of us feel pretty good about what some might call Aaron Rodgers' last dance.
We'll see. It could be, and if it is, he's got a pretty good squad to go into battle with this year, and they got Super Bowl aspirations. Pretty much brought the whole squad back together again. Another year in the system, and some more talent around them with Brandon Cobb and those hopefully some impact day one rookies, and excited to get into it. So week one, New Orleans Saints down in Jacksonville. Saints think that they're trying to pull a fast one on us by Aaron Rodgers doesn't play well in Florida. Doesn't play well in the heat. Also, it's tough for Packer fans to fly to Jacksonville, but I think that's going to be a massive W for us. I felt confident that we were going to pull out a win even in New Orleans, but this definitely solidifies it a little bit more. And you got the win as well.
So I
Sunday
I
at 4:30.
do I do have the win. I don't know if I am quite as confident as you sound. Because I mean, let's not forget, the Saints, they did win their division last year, and they swept the Bucks in the regular season with some pretty handy defeats.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, they've lost Drew Brees, but it's not like Drew Brees was really being a difference maker for them last year. I mean, he had no arm strength. And Jameis Winston, who's going to be their starter, he's one of only 8 QBs in NFL history to have a 5,000-yard season. Yes, he's infamous for the 30-30 club, 30 plus touchdowns, 30 plus turnovers. But he's had a year in the Sean Payton offense now. Um, they still have Alvin Kamara. They still have a really top-notch defense,
Great
and
offensive line
our
too.
starters, it literally had zero snaps in the
Mm-hmm.
offseason for the most part. Um, I think this is going to be a bit of a dogfight. Uh, and I can tell you the specifics and why I think we pull out the W, but I'm curious, sort of what you see as the biggest challenges of this game.
I think winning in the trenches is going to be where it's at. Uh, Keeping the offense kind of off the field. I almost can see with the way Drew Brees broke down last year with his throwing, with his arm strength there. putting in Winston will be able to take the top off the defense there with the deep
He's got a
ball.
big arm. You got to respect it.
Yeah, so I do see it. This could get into a shootout. I do think that towards the end of the game that will probably pull away, and I'm mostly concerned about Kamara. Last year he was a big problem for us. We could not stop Kamara last year. We knew the ball was going to him, and we couldn't do anything about it, mainly because of our poor tackling. There was like a screenplay at like the 50, and it was just poor tackling, and he ran it all the way to the house. Should have
Yep.
been
Yep.
stopped for like a 5 yard
He
gain.
broke like 6
Yeah.
tackles. Yeah, and I mean, I do see Kamara being a key to this game.
Hmm.
Honestly, I think New Orleans' strategy is going to be get Kamara the ball as much as possible
Hmm.
and force the Green Bay Packers to prove that they can tackle.
It's
Historically, we've not been a good tackling team. New defensive coordinator, we'll see if that changes. But Michael Thomas is out for this game. That is a big factor to consider.
that
So
affected
really,
my decision.
it's gonna be Kamara is gonna be the heart of their offense. Um, and that's why I'm kind of coming out on the win side here, whereas like
Hmm.
they've got like the one offensive weapon that we have to worry about, and like yes, he's an elite talent. Yes, we have a new defense where there may be some growing pains. Um, they have an elite offensive line that with Zadarius Smith most likely out of this game, that could give us some trouble.
Hmm.
But still, I factor all those things in, and I look at this Green Bay offense, and there are too many weapons for New Orleans to stop. I don't care if their defense
Yeah.
is good. Um, who, dude, I mean, who are you gonna stop? You got Devontae Adams, Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon, Robert Tunyon, MVS, Alan
Uh,
Lazard. Like
Lazard.
it goes on and on and on.
We got we got Degora back. I can't wait to see what he does. So
honestly, I'm gonna say this. I don't know if there's a single player on this offense that I am concerned about as a weak link. Granted, skill position wise, offensive line. I do think that's going to be a little dicey until Bakhtiari comes back.
I was gonna say the
Um,
interior of our line is one to watch in this game.
yeah,
The
dude, I
guards and
definitely
center.
think Cam Jordan's going to be doing lots of stunts. They're probably going to
Yep.
send some blitzes with Demario Davis.
Hmm.
So yeah, a lot of quick passes, a lot of
Yeah,
running,
we can get that out
play
with some quick
action.
passes. This could be a game where Devonta eats a lot on like maybe some quick slants or some screens.
Yeah,
Jones
I
out
mean,
of the
what
backfield.
probably one of the things I like most about this game is Devontae Adams matched up against Marshawn Lattimore.
Hmm.
Premier matchup, and I think Devontae is just gonna eat, man. I think he's gonna take it. I think he's gonna have a 100-yard game against one of the top corners in the league.
I'm assuming that Marquez Callaway is going to be lined up against Jair, and I think Jair's just going to shut him down the whole game.
Dude, our whole secondary, I think they're gonna smother their
Yeah,
receivers. They
yeah,
really don't have a lot there without Michael
yeah,
Thomas.
yeah. So that's going to really play into it. I mean, they'll get creative and try to, get the guys in space and try to utilize our poor tackling to try to pick up like rack yards, and that's probably going to be the plan of attack. At least that's how I would attack this defense. So,
Yeah.
yeah, just starting off on a winning note takes us to a Monday night game, week 2. I was surprised that we got Detroit on a Monday night game, but we do September 20th, Monday night in Lambeau. Hey, Detroit's rebuilding. They have historically played us tough, but it's
True.
a whole new system. They're basically rebuilding. Stafford's out, Goff's in. Oh man, could our secondary ask for? Could Eric Stokes have a better situation to transition to than the Saints receivers and then the Lions receivers? I mean,
I
he's getting
mean,
some
that's
cupcake.
dude. Like, I'll ask you right now. I mean, obviously, like we are diehard Packers fans. We follow the rest of the division. I know the Lions just cut Richard Perriman, who was
Hmm.
projected to be their number one and turned out to be a total bust of a signing. Can you name me another Detroit receiver right now? Because they let Kenny Galladay go, they let Marvin Jones go. Um,
Yeah, I can
who
name
are they
three of
running?
them.
Yeah,
Yeah, they got Quentin Cephas. He was on their team last year. He
right.
was a
Yeah, he
rookie.
was like a fifth round pick last year who overperformed.
Yep. I might get this one wrong, but the receiver from or Tyrone Williams, I believe his name was from
Tyrell Williams. Yeah,
Tyrell
yeah.
Williams from the Raiders.
Raiders.
He's the default wide receiver one.
He was
But
a good number three with the Chargers.
yeah,
Then he went to the Raiders, did nothing, and now he's in Detroit. Yeah,
I mean, yeah, he's their number one for now. I think towards the end of the season, you're gonna see Amon Ra St. Brown be the target
brother
leader.
of EQ.
Yep. We cut EQ and then brought him back to our practice squad. So
Hmm.
yeah, they do say that he's the more talented receiver of the two.
Fourth
I
round pick, I think.
Yep, and I mean it's a wide open competition for targets there in Detroit. I think Cream rises to the top, and I think based on just talent towards the end of the season, he'll probably be their number
Yeah,
one, personally speaking, but not in week one. Um, he won't be. He'll be a green rookie.
yeah.
Honestly, I think T.J. Hawkinson's just going to have to be their target leader. I mean,
By far their best offensive weapon.
yeah,
By far, hands
I mean,
down.
we got Swift, we got DeAndre Swift, who I think is probably going to play in the game, and then Jamal Williams, newly acquired Jamal Williams. He'll probably get plenty of snaps in this game, and hey, he's a he's a great back. Probably one of the, if not the best, one of the best pass blocking running backs in the NFL.
Hmm. Hmm.
He can catch, he can run. Um, it's going to be weird going up against him. So,
Do you, honestly, I see this game like I just have the picture in my mind of like Jamal knows how this game's gonna go.
mhm,
Like Detroit's gonna get blown out, and
mhm,
Jamal's gonna be joking with former Packers teammates, and he's just gonna be glad. He's getting paid. He's still playing the game. I think this is gonna be a fun game atmosphere for the Packers
mhm.
and the Lions. They know they're rebuilding. They know they're still growing, installing a new culture. I think our second matchup with them is going to be a lot tougher. But this one, man,
Too early in the
I think
season
we
on a new system. Yeah.
I
I
think we
mean,
blow them out of the water
yeah. Wow. Every year, dude, every goddamn year we get San Francisco.
in San
In
Francisco.
San Fran, this is the is it's at least the third, if not the fourth year in a row, I believe, that we're going to San Francisco to play San Francisco. Uh, we won last year, but they were decimated by injuries last year. It was just
Yeah.
basically varsity versus JV squad. They're probably going to be a lot healthier this time around. However, I think we're the better team now. Um, since from that NFC Championship game there 2 years ago. I mean, they still got that defense, still has playmakers. Bosa's still a problem, um, but they're not the juggernaut that they once were, in my opinion. But they can still run the ball. They still got some good young receivers who are ascending. Um, I think we're probably going to get Garoppolo still in this game. I don't think they're going to make the switch to Trey Lance by week 3, but maybe. I do. I don't think that we're going to blow them out. It's going to be a close game. It's going to be a defensive battle a little bit, I think. But I think we're going to win this game.
This one was a
It was tough, but
tough one for me to pick. I grappled with it for a while. I pretty consistently came out with a loss, to be honest. The way I was looking at it is, when we faced them last year, that we may as well have been playing their practice squad. That I'm throwing that game out.
mhm,
Every other time we've gone to San Francisco in recent memory, it hasn't been close.
it's
We've gotten
disastrous.
our butts handed to us. They're getting healthier. Bosa's back, Garoppolo's back, Debo Samuel's back, George Kittle's back. Like
Ayuk's
you're talking a
back. I think
lot
he
of
was even hurt.
Yeah, like dude, there's a lot of blue chip talent on this team.
Mhm.
And I agree with you that I think Garoppolo is still going to be the starter here. I definitely think they're going to have sub packages for Trey Lance, and historically Green Bay just cannot defend mobile quarterbacks. We've
We're gonna get
struggled
into that
so
later
hard.
in the year. That plays a factor into some of my mobile quarterback predictions later in the season. So
Yeah, and so we've got
notorious.
all these factors. Plus, we're traveling to the West Coast, where just like even if it's not San Francisco, talk about a couple years back, we went and faced the Chargers when they were like a garbage
Yeah,
team before they even had Justin Herbert.
we
And
have
and
trouble in
we
Seattle too.
yeah, like we don't do well on the West Coast. So there's a lot of factors going against Green Bay here.
You can go
But
all the way back to the Favre days against
ultimately,
San
dude,
Francisco.
I put down the W because I think every single person on the team, most notably Matt LaFleur. I think Matt LaFleur is going to have a chip on his shoulder here that they know last year didn't really count and that people aren't giving them real credit for that. They know they've gotten their butts handed to them, and they're sick of hearing this narrative, man. I think this is going to be the first statement game of the year. And Matt LaFleur is going to be like, hey, why does Kyle Shanahan get all this love when I've been to two NFC championship games in a row? Um, I think this is going to be like the first, like, let's call talent a wash, and this is like the emotional momentum victory game of the year.
The biggest thing, the X factor in this game is going to be our tackles versus Bosa. They're just going to have to hold up. Nick Bosa could wreck this game with Bakhtiari still out. Um, it's going to be a dogfight. I mean, they're going to come. Both teams are going to come ready to play, and it's just going to be a hard nosed, old fashioned slobber knocker, man. But
Yeah,
I'm looking
and I
forward
mean,
to it.
hopefully, on that slobber knocker note, when we did get manhandled by San Francisco, it was after that NFC Championship game that we really started drafting for a new kind of team,
Hmm.
which some fans weren't a fan of.
Hmm.
But we are moving toward a more run-oriented, tough in the trenches approach. And this game is going to be a fantastic test for that. Honestly, this could be an AJ Dillon showcase.
Yeah, you almost got to wonder if AJ Dillon was the type of running back that they foresaw utilizing him in a game against like a defense like San Francisco, like just late in the game, just trying to wear down those studs on the San Francisco front seven there. But
Yeah.
we both got
It,
the win, but
yeah.
it's not like a blowout game. It's going to be close.
Now,
I
dude,
think
honestly, man, I think this will probably be one of the best games we watch all year long.
mhm. This game can also set the tone for the rest of the season. To get a win
Yes.
this early against San Francisco could be a huge momentum boost and could really vault Green Bay and give them the confidence to go on a pretty good win streak here going forward, I feel.
Yeah.
But not for you, I guess. Uh, again, can you ask for two tougher teams back to back than San Francisco and Pittsburgh, who's basically the AFC version of um, hard nosed, gritty football? Mike Tomlin brings those boys ready to play and play hard every week. Um, it's in Green Bay. I'm going with the win. Again, it's going to be close. My reasoning for this decision is mainly based off the fact that I think we just have the better offense. I think that we're more explosive, and I think our defense is finally up to snuff enough where they can, like, when the game's on the line, we can make the plays necessary to stop it. It might come down to a last drive in this game, and I'm cautiously optimistic that our defense can get the job done if we're up by like 3 points and Big Ben's got the ball and he's got to march down the field or something. I think that we can do it. I took about 5 minutes thinking about this game, the scenarios, but I'm giving Green Bay the win.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean this was a tough one for me to think about, and honestly, a lot of it, I kept getting a hunch, ultimately went with here, but I look at it as a lot of people forget Pittsburgh was like what 11-0, 12-0 last year
Hmm.
before the wheels fell off. Um, they're a fantastic team,
Yeah.
particularly on the defensive side of the ball,
Hmm.
and I don't care how good your offense is, defense wins championships. That has always held true.
Hmm.
And when I look at David Bakhtiari being out, two rookies starting on the offensive line, and even as much as I love Elton Jenkins, he's not really tested at left tackle. A lot of people are just assuming he's going to be great there. I don't know, man. Left tackle is one of the hardest positions to play in sports. And, I know that Pittsburgh is going to be trying to get TJ Watt in favorable matchups. I just look at it like their defense is one of, if not the best in the league. And I think they're going to slow us down offensively.
We do
And
have a Devin White clone and Devin Bush there, and roaming the middle. He will be
yeah, I
back
mean
this
Devin
year.
Bush. People forget he got injured last year,
Yeah,
and so they're going to be a lot healthier. Ben Roethlisberger, his arm's going to be fresher at this point in the year. They got Najee Harris coming in, so they're actually going to have a running game now.
their
You got a
offensive line
year
is
of
still suspect though.
that. I mean
I
that
do
that's their
think we're
weakness
gonna
right there.
I do think we're
Offensive
gonna
line.
get some sacks in this game, and Big
That
Ben's
that's
not
the
mobile anymore.
dude. That's the thing. If we win this game, it's going to be on our defensive line. Like it's going to have to be
Z
Z
Z
and
Gary and
Gary.
Preston got to take
Yeah,
over late game,
they
and
got to eat, man.
Kenny.
Like
We
I'm
gotta
talking
get
like
pressure on him.
if we want to win this game, I think we need at least 5 sacks. Um, honestly,
Probably.
I think Pittsburgh is a really tough matchup at this
And they
point in
got
the year.
good receivers too
Yeah, oh, that's
across
the
the
thing.
board.
Claypool, he has a year to grow. They still
Claypool
got
is
Juju.
good. Kevin King's gonna be on Claypool probably.
Yeah,
Uh, Shannon Sullivan's gonna be on Juju, and Deontay Johnson, their number one, is gonna be on Jair. Deontay Johnson, I think, is like he's not a household name yet, but that boy is
on
good.
his way.
He got. I was just looking at his game log. I was looking at this, like 144 targets last year, like 90. He had like 97 catches last year, something like that. And that's with like 12 drops. He had some drops. He had some injuries and stuff. But man, his ability to get open and his route running is. I mean, he will be a household name here soon. I think. I think he's a great receiver. So.
Yeah. So I mean, ultimately, I take the first Packers loss here just because I look at it like their defense is going to be strong coming out of the gate, probably going to give our young offensive line some problems. And I think their offense, I think Roethlisberger is still going to be fresh at this point, and our defense is still going to be gelling. So I think those are the factors that contribute to a tight loss. If we face them again in the Super Bowl, but I mean, it's a possibility. Maybe not the most likely, but it's a possibility.
Hmm.
I feel much more confident about late season matchup. But
All
for
right.
week 4, I think that's our first loss.
All right. Moving on. I believe the last time we played in Cincinnati, it was a loss. It's been a long time. I do know we have Aaron Rodgers has lost in Cincinnati before. It was a heartbreaker, like almost. I think we lost in overtime. Um, but not this time around. I do think since he's going to be a tough test for us again, we got. I mean, this we don't have. I think we have the second or third hardest schedule in the
Yeah.
NFL.
Yeah, we've got
So
a brutal schedule this year.
since he's getting there, they're an ascending team. They got three really good receivers. I think Joe Mixon is vastly underrated. I think he's a stud. Um, Joe Burrow's going to be a stud, I think, but I think the defense is still suspect. I think the offensive line is still suspect. I can't believe that they didn't go offensive line to help protect Burrow in the first round of the draft at all.
Yeah.
Um, but they'll get there, but not
Hey,
yet. Aaron Rodgers is gonna say, no way, not today. We're gonna put up some points in this game, and I think our defense is gonna be good enough to to make the plays when it counts in this game. So
Yeah, man. I
win.
think it'll be a fun game.
Mm-hmm.
Because like honestly, their defense, it doesn't scare me. I think we're gonna put up points.
Mm-hmm.
And then their offense is good enough. You know, you're talking they just took Jamar Chase. They got T. Higgins last year,
And
and
Boyd.
then Boyd. Yeah, so I mean they've got offensive weapons, which it'll be this might be one of the first interesting times where we see how much of Dom Capers and Mike Pettin lives inside of Joe Barry. Are we going to go out and try to just shut them down the whole time, or are we going to say, "Hey, we're up, you know, let's play soft and just give them some free yards"? Because I could see them making a lot of garbage time points here. But ultimately, yeah, man, I think our offense is just too much for them, and
Yeah, I think
this is
Devontae's
a
just
high
gonna go
scoring.
off.
Yeah,
Devontae's gonna go off. I think Aaron Jones is gonna be able to put up some really good stats in this game. Might even see some MVS bombs, some one or two deep plays, or who knows, Tanya might even get in on the fun in this game. I think it's just gonna be just Aaron's just gonna pick them apart all game
hey
in
man,
this.
hey. I'll make the first bold prediction for this season. I think we see Jordan Love
Come
lead the
in
drive in
garbage
this
time in
game.
this. All right, we could, we could. Um, Chicago, man, fuck the Bears. Chicago still sucks, but we're going to Soldier Field. Win-win from both of us. It's a 1 o'clock game. What's there to say? It's not going to be a blowout. Chicago usually plays. Well, no, we've blown them out a few times before, but um, the defense is good. Not as elite as it once was. They even lost Kyle Fuller in this offseason. Don't even know who's going to be covering Devontae in this game, but they still got Mack. They still got Eddie Goldman. They still got Akeem Hicks. They
Yeah,
still
and
have
to
Smith.
me that's a big factor there. Akeem Hicks, when he got hurt last year, it totally transformed that defense.
Yeah.
It just let every offense make Khalil Mack their sole focus. So if they've got Hicks and Mack healthy in this game, um, I think that it could give us some problems, especially because we're still not going to have Bakhtiari at this point. Um, I think Chicago's defense always plays pretty tough, and they got Roquan Smith, Eddie Goldman. Um, their corners are young, but I think ascending. I think they knew what they were doing when they let Fuller go. Uh, and honestly, we're getting to the point in the season here where this might be a like, hey, is this the first start that Justin Fields gets? And
Yeah.
whenever a mobile high draft pick quarterback starts for the first time and there's no tape on him, it
They
always scares
suck.
me a little bit.
Hey, happened last year with Jalen fucking Hurts. Came in the middle of the game and just we didn't know what to do. We had a game plan for who'd they have last year? Who was starting? Was it?
It was Wentz. That was the game where
Yeah,
they
yeah,
benched him.
Wentz. Yeah, Wentz. They planned for Wentz. We were killing them. Bench Wentz. Hurts came in. We didn't know what the fuck to do. We couldn't adapt. Patton could not adapt, and Hurts was just tearing us up in that second half. I was nervous that he was going to actually come back and I don't know.
Yeah,
Regardless,
it was
yes,
it was tight. It was tight for
yes.
sure. Yeah, I mean the mobile quarterbacks always scare me. A quarterback that you don't have game tape on scares me. I do think Justin Fields. I believe in him. I think he's a gamer. I hope that their awful offensive line ruins him, especially now that Tevin Jenkins probably out for the season with back
Hmm.
surgery. And they the Bears. You gotta love the Bears, man. They released their starting left tackle right after the draft because they're like, oh, we drafted Tevin Jenkins. This is gonna work out great. So I just hope they have a terrible offensive line that just smothers their offense.
Hmm.
I do think we pull out the W, but divisional game on the
I
road, it's always going to be tough.
I don't see Aaron Jones having a great game in this game, especially with our interior offensive line. I mean, hopefully they're this point in the season, the young guys are starting to make the transition, but Akeem Hicks is going to be a problem in this game. They're going to pull a lot of pressure up the middle, and they got the horses to penetrate up the middle on Aaron Rodgers against these young guys. So that's
Dude,
probably going to be
maybe
the
this is a Randall Cobb game right here.
there
He's
you
a
go.
historic bear killer, man.
There you go. Man, dude, Jesus, just brutal defenses we're facing all year. Arguably the best defensive front four in the NFL. I mean, I have them right up there 1-2 with probably the Bucks. Bucks and Washington got the best 1-2 punch in the front four. Other than that, they don't. I mean, they made the playoffs last year. The offense it is what it is. They have Fitzpatrick taking over quarterback, Antonio Gibson, who I think is a young, promising running back. He has some skills. They added Curtis Samuel. They got Logan Thomas.
Terry.
Yeah, McLaurin. I mean, they have some horses on offense, and their defense is. I mean, they got a good defense. Elite front four. They got some pretty decent safeties. Yeah, but
their number one draft pick was a middle linebacker, and
Jamin Davis.
Yeah, and I mean, you look historically at Ron Rivera defenses, and you know he's got guys like Luke Kuechly to his name. Like he makes stars out of linebackers. Yeah, I mean, I think it's gonna be a tough game. I think it's gonna be a physical smash mouth game. You know, maybe a game where we see a lot of AJ Dillon. And yeah, dude, our offense line's really gonna be tested here.
Do you think Bakhtiari is back in this game?
No, man. I think all right. So this technically is the earliest he could return, but I think he's gonna take a couple weeks to practice before he comes in. I don't.
Yeah,
think
so I think you get another few more weeks before of like practice before you have to either put him back on IR for the rest of the year or activate him to the 53.
Yeah. So ultimately, I don't think Bakhtiari is in this game. I think it's going to be rough on our offensive line. But dude, at the end of the day, it's Aaron Rodgers versus Ryan Fitzpatrick
in Lambeau.
Yeah, we're pulling this one out.
Yeah, okay? We're pulling this one out. Yeah, I mean it could be a trap game, and it ain't gonna be an easy game. I feel, but Aaron Rodgers over Fitzpatrick, as you said, is what it's gonna come down to. And I don't think Fitzpatrick's gonna have any Fitz magic left in Lambeau Field come fourth quarter. So
yeah, I love Fitzpatrick. He's a fun guy to watch.
He's a good feel-good story, man. But
dude, honestly, it's a confusing signing for me because you look at the makeup of the Washington team and their defense first, and you look at Ron Rivera's history, and it's always defense, ball control. Why would they take a gambler, a magician like Ryan Fitzpatrick? Why not? Why didn't they sign Andy Dalton? Someone like that, or like Cam Newton is now available. Why not go get him?
I don't know. You could have even gone after like Mitchell Trubisky. Maybe but Mitchell
Trubisky's like Trubisky wishes he was Fitzpatrick.
Or you could have just drafted one in the draft.
Yeah. I mean, interesting decisions there. But that's why we're Green Bay and they're Washington, and some organizations are just run better than others.
We will be playing them in their last season as the Washington football team. By the way, I was watching The Replacements with Keanu Reeves last week. I think that they should change the name to the Washington Sentinels. Now, after watching that game, Sentinels is my pick.
Okay.
Same jerseys.
Okay. Keanu will be an official sponsor.
Yeah. I have my first loss in this game. I mean, just the tough teams that were playing in the first half of the season, just catching up to us. And it's a short week. That really is what played in. We went from Washington on a Sunday, Thursday playing the Cardinals, and the Cardinals are, man, I mean, they're going to be good. I think they could push as one of the top teams in the NFC, personally speaking. I think that they have amazing talent across the board, and they made a lot of moves in the offseason. They have Kyler Murray, who is just a superstar quarterback. Chase Edmonds is a pretty good running back in my mind, pretty underrated. Receivers, man, did they load up? They got Hopkins, obviously, but they had AJ Green. They got Rondale Moore, the rookie. They added, and they still got Christian Kirk. On defense, they had JJ Watt. Another year for their rookie linebacker that they took last year. His name just slips my mind there. They took him at like 8 or 9 overall.
Oh, Isaiah Simmons.
Yep, Isaiah Simmons.
Yep.
I believe they
and
took.
then they took Zaven Collins this year.
Yep, yep.
Which Collins was I loved his tape, man. He was one of my favorite guys in this draft.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude, they're loaded with talent across the board, and it is entirely possible that Kyler Murray makes a Josh Allen type of leap this year. I mean, he was like in the first half of last year, a lot of people had him in the MVP conversation.
I had him on my fantasy team, and that man carried me to victories some weeks. Like just between running, throwing, man's dropping like 40, 45 fantasy points a week for me. I mean, it was
Yeah,
just
man. I mean,
amazing.
and he's got a better offensive line this year.
Yeah.
They made some trades. They've got new pieces on the offensive line. Pretty
Yep.
much like across the board, Carolina has improved as a team. They're going to continue growing. I think this is year 3 in the Cliff Kingsbury system.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, so I kind of looked at it and like, just talent wise, I'm like, okay, our offenses are pretty close, our defenses are pretty close. I do give Green Bay the experience, the edge experience wise and coaching wise. But yeah, dude, it comes back to short week on the
Mm-hmm.
road.
Against a great
And like
team.
statistically, if you look at Thursday night games for the road team,
It's not great.
there is a significant
Yeah.
factor there. So I do think all the tough games, then a short week on the road, mobile quarterback. I gotta call this one a loss.
Could be a shootout in this game. I mean, just based off the receivers and stuff, could be a shootout. Be very interested to see DeAndre Hopkins versus Jair Alexander in this game. That's a high marquee matchup. But yeah, I mean, 3
Actually,
days.
now that you mentioned that, I'm almost more interested in watching aging AJ Green against Kevin King.
Yeah. Yeah,
Or is
I'm in.
Eric Stokes starting at this point in the season? Who
Could
knows?
he could. But yeah, I mean, just short week, great team on the road. Don't love it. Getting a loss. Um, Originally I had them. I was thinking this was probably going to be a loss, but I sat down, really, really thought about it. Green Bay's going to have a little bit of some extra rest, almost like the little mini bye week there. Um, it's in Kansas City, and obviously this is just going to be one of those games you circle on the map. Pat Mahomes versus Aaron Rodgers. And is this just going to be a great football game? The last time we played them, we did get the win, but Pat Mahomes did not play in the game.
Yeah, and honestly, for Pat Mahomes not playing, that game was way closer than it should have been.
Yeah. It was like the 1 week where Pat Mahomes didn't play, I think, because of his dislocated knee that happened.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the knee. Yeah,
Yep,
yeah.
the knee came back like in 2 weeks later. I think in what very well could be a Super Bowl preview, I think we can get the W in Kansas City. Won't be easy. But just looking around, I think that our offense is going to be able to move the ball against their defense. I don't think their offensive line has made enough improvements to stop our pass rush, which is sneaky good. Pat Mahomes is going to be Pat Mahomes. Tyreek Hill is going to be Tyreek Hill. Um, but I just feel like we are the more talented football team. I think we have more talent across the board in this game.
And that's kind of wild to say when you're going against the Kansas City Chiefs, because like my first thought with this game is that
first game back for Bakhtiari, by the way. I will say that.
Yeah, I also think
back.
this will be his first game back. But yeah, I think about this game and I just foresee every national pundit calling this a Kansas City victory. You know, it's in Kansas City. everyone's in love with Patrick Mahomes. I do think their team's gotten better than it was last year. Um, but I mean, ultimately, I think this is going to be a game of X factors. Because
Mhm.
we're looking at two ultra talented teams, and what I'm going to say, Jair can shut down Tyreek Hill. Travis Kelsey's probably going to eat, but we'll
Do you?
game plan around him to try to limit it.
This
Uh,
seems crazy, but you think we put Jair on Tyreek, or we put Mister 4.29 speed Eric Stokes on Tyreek?
no, man, I am putting Jair on Tyreek all day. Uh, I want my best corner on their best weapon. Even maybe putting some help over the top.
Oh yeah, probably
Uh,
put Darnell over
yeah.
the top on that.
But I mean, ultimately, I look at it and I'm like, who are their X factors? You get past Tyreek, you get past Kelsey. Is Markel Holdman? Is he going to take over this game? Is Clyde here Edwards? Is he going to take over this game? Like, it's possible that they have big games, but I look at the Green Bay roster, and even if they were to somehow shut down Devontae Adams and Aaron Jones, we just have more weapons. Like, we have
Yep.
more guys who could have a breakout week. Um, it, and I look at this as another statement game. I talked about that San Francisco game to start. And coming here, I think this is going to be the next big statement game where people are going to say this Super Bowl preview, Kansas City. Oh, they're how can you compete with Patrick Mahomes' talent? And I think Green Bay comes out and they say, hey man,
Yeah.
this is the year, and
Very,
and I do think we steal one on the road.
very surprised it's not a prime time game. That's 4:30. I mean, obviously, it's gonna be
Oh
America's
yeah,
game of the
wow,
week.
that's amazing that they did not make
Yeah.
this a Sunday or Monday night. That's
I mean,
crazy.
it's going to be probably Fox's game of the week. It's going to be on the national thing. I'm sure it will be, but man, yeah, really surprised it's not Sunday or Monday night. But yep, win-win for both of us. Takes us back home to Lambeau in mid-November, where at 4:30 again we take on Seattle and Russell Wilson. Both getting the win, predicting the win in this one. Oh man, I'm just going through these teams and they're just all good ass teams, man. Just what a brutal schedule, dude.
Yeah, dude, it is the roughest schedule I've seen the Packers play in
Playing a
years.
while. I mean, what's there to say? I think that their defense is no longer the elite. I think it's still good, but it's not the elite defense it was. We're going to be able to score points as defense, especially at home. Russell Wilson and DK Metcalf will do some damage, I'm sure. We might even struggle to kind of stop Chris Carson because he's an aggressive runner and our tackling sucks. He could have a sneaky, really good game and bust off some big runs on some broken tackles. But probably a close game, could be a shootout. Aaron Rodgers, the old gunslinger junior, there will pull us out and save our asses and pick up the W for us, I think.
Yeah, and honestly, man, I'm not that worried about this one. You said it might be a shootout. I
I
I
think
think we win by more than one score. I
I
think
can see
Seattle's not.
Lockett getting over the top on sometimes, and like Lockett
Yeah, I
can
mean
do that. And
they've got a lot of talent, and Russell Wilson for sure. He is one of the best QBs in the league.
he's
But
a
I
scrambling
just
quarterback, and
yeah, I just don't think their team is as good as it used to be. And if you look at even when they were good, their record in Green Bay, um, they just don't win in Green Bay.
yeah,
Uh, so I think we take this one pretty handily actually. Um, they Seattle's at a crossroads. They need to decide. Uh, I think of them kind of like the Saints when they had those like three losing years before they went on their recent run. Like they're kind of going through a mini rebuild,
hmm
but Russell Wilson's like desire to get out complicates things.
yeah, yep. Win for both of us. Uh, by the way, have you noticed that we really not until later in the season we really don't get back-to-back home games like the first half of the season. Like,
Hey man,
or
I don't mind stacking up the home games in the back half of the year.
yeah,
Bring them
yeah,
to
we
that
give him in
Lambeau
Lambeau.
Field.
Um, this. is nope. This is our second differing opinion that we've had. Yeah, we're at Minnesota. Lost this game last year. Um, Almost a trap game for us. I could see it again. I mean, Mike Zimmer brings that defense to play. Defense should be vastly improved. They did add some extra pieces to it, including cornerback Patrick Peterson. Um, However, I think we're gonna get a W here. It's just my gut telling me we're gonna get the W. How come you went with a loss?
So I mean, I looked at it like trying to look back over the past several years. Ever since Minnesota has built that new stadium, we've really had a tough time there. I think we've only got one or maybe two wins since they moved into the new stadium, and and honestly, in the Aaron Rodgers era, Minnesota's been our biggest competitor, and I believe Mike Zimmer. I don't think he's ever gone 2 years in a row missing the playoffs. Um,
Hmm.
and I do think they've improved this year. Uh, you look at their offense with Thielen, Jefferson, Cook, and then guys are going to grow like Irv Smith, and then they've got what's his name, Christian Darisaw for the
Mm-hmm.
offensive line in this draft. Their defense, Patrick Peterson, I believe they signed Bashawn Breeland as well. Uh,
They did.
they're getting Danielle Hunter's back from injury. I think Minnesota is going to be a lot tougher this year than people are giving them credit for.
They
On the
did.
road,
They
it's going to
just
be tough.
they did just extend Harrison Smith to a contract extension as well. And they still have Kendricks there, or Kendricks Roman,
Dude, one of the most
middle fielder.
underrated linebackers
Yeah,
in the league. Every
yeah,
year
he's
in and
really
year out, that guy is a baller.
yeah he's good. He's really good. Um, Another differing opinion. So home against the Rams late in November, 4:30 game. I'm just thinking that we just don't pull this one out. Um, I think Aaron Donald will be a menace in the middle against some of them young guys. The middle, including our young rookie center. It'll be his. I mean, if he doesn't have a welcome to the NFL moment yet, he will get it in this game.
That's for
Uh,
sure.
on top of that, you're subbing out Jared Goff for Matt Stafford, and you're finally giving that man some weapons that he hasn't had since Calvin Johnson. I
Yeah, yeah. I fucking love this narrative that like, oh, Matt Stafford, he was never given a chance. He was in Detroit. He'd be a Hall of Fame quarterback if he was somewhere else.
he had
What
some.
about the Hall of Fame receiver he had?
Mhm.
Like literal, just inducted into the Hall of Fame,
Yeah,
Calvin Johnson. Um, Matt Stafford is not a winning QB. I don't care what stats he puts up. I don't care how in love people are with him. The dude has been to the playoffs like 3 times and won one game. He's trash. All right. I
he
don't
also
think
hasn't
he's
had a
gonna be.
defense.
I don't think he's gonna be the big upgrade over Golf that everyone thinks he is. Golf took them to the Super Bowl. Let's not forget that. Like, yeah, I know Golf wasn't the best, but I don't think Matt Stafford is going to transform this franchise, especially now that Cam Akers is out for the year, because it's going right back to no running game, and Stafford is going to feel like he's back in Detroit. Let's not forget when he was in Detroit, he did have whatever Sue on the defensive line, number 2 overall pick. So it's not like he hasn't had a good defense before. Uh, it's just people. It's a big market team with a big offseason trade, so everyone's fawning over them. I think we're gonna keep kicking Matt Stafford's ass. I don't think he's that good.
Nah, I mean, I just think it's gonna be one of them games that we just don't win. It just happens
I
every
mean,
year. Happens every
talented
year.
talented team for sure. It'll be a tough game, but I kind of look at this as maybe being the new Green Bay Seattle, where we were always in it every year, and it was tough matchups, and it was usually the home team who pulled it out. That's kind of how I come down on this. Um, because Matt Stafford, he ain't Patrick Mahomes, man. It's going to be a complete team effort, and when I look at the complete teams, I'm taking the home team.
Well, I certainly hope I'm wrong in my prediction. I'll say that. Hope I'm wrong. I don't want to be right. It doesn't
Dude,
feel.
Stafford might not even be healthy at this point. They could be
Might
starting
not
John
be.
Wolford.
You might not be. Takes us to our bye week, the latest bye week in the NFL this year. 13. What a brutal 12-game stretch to get a break, man. Wow.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah.
I'm not even like we have a really good record on our predictions right now. I'm not super confident that they're gonna have as good of a record as we gave them. I mean, there's some really tough teams that were playing back to back, especially early in the season without Bach. But I feel like across the board we're good enough to get there. This could be a X factor getting a bye week this late in the season. Give us that little bit of extra juice maybe for a final playoff push since it's so much late. It's so late in the season. I just hope that our players are healthy
Yeah, man.
going into
We've
this
had good
bye.
injury luck the past couple of years.
Yeah,
Got to hope that keeps up.
yeah. LaFleur does a good job of keeping them boys rested enough to not get injured. So takes us into yours truly, ours truly, whatever word I'm trying to say, will be at this game. We will not be podcasting this game because we will be in attendance at the Mecca, December 12th, Sunday night, against the Bears.
And hey, context fans, let's just put it out there that the last time we were at a Packers game together, they did go on to win the Super Bowl that year.
2010. 2010. Flew out there to watch them take on the Bills, where Clay Matthews wrecked Trent Edwards
I
all
think two and a
game.
half sacks that game.
Yep, that was the game where Buffalo just handed it off to Marshawn Lynch every time to try to like increase his trade value in front of Ted Thompson, and
Yeah,
we killed them.
yeah. Here in week 12, I think we're seeing Justin Fields starting by this
Yeah,
point.
yeah, he could give us some problems, but I mean it's Lambeau Field in December. Green Bay's winning this game, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
I just
Green Bay's
I,
winning
I
this
just have
game.
zero faith in the Chicago offensive
Yeah,
line. Like
yeah.
they honestly would not surprise me if they're like battling with Detroit for last place this year.
No, they should have Tree Cohen back. I'm not saying that's even like a big X factor, but they should have Tree Cohen back. He will add another wrinkle to this offense. I will say I will give credit where credit's due. I think that Chicago has finally found a legitimate wide receiver two this year. I think Darnell Mooney will be
Mooney
a
looks good.
good wide receiver two for them. I think Cole Kmet will eventually, maybe not this year, but he'll make strides this year. Cole
Yep.
Kmet will eventually potentially be a problem, but I think Cole Kmet will be a real problem by the time Allen Robinson's kind of on the decline. So there's going to be a kind of replacing. I mean, I'm foreshadowing into the future on that, but
Yeah,
I
baby. I
but I
I I
digress.
think we win this one.
We're
I'm
winning.
not too worried about it.
Might even win by a couple scores, but plus it's Sunday
I'm
night
just excited to see this Green Bay show
for sure.
one last time before Mr. Rogers most likely leaves. Maybe we'll get that Rogers to Cobb connection, Rogers to Adams.
Let's
Man, I am
not
so looking forward to this Sunday night football, December in Lambeau.
let's not forget we play Chicago extremely well in prime time too.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it was a Sunday night game. The time that Mr. Rogers put up like 45 points and it was 45-0 at halftime against Jay Cutler and the Bears. I think that was a Sunday night game, but I will have to go through and double check. Don't quote me on that, fans. But um, moving on. Uh, yeah, we're in agreement here that this will probably be a loss. It's in Baltimore. Green Bay sucks at containing scrambling quarterbacks. Everest going back to Colin Kaepernick and Mike Vick. Uh, can't do it. I don't know. It's just, hopefully, maybe Joe Barry can do something to alleviate, but we don't. We suck at tackling. We're not a good open field tackling team. we're not going to be able to open field tackle Lamar Jackson. It's going to be a problem with Justin Fields in the future unless we can get it figured out. It was a problem against Jalen Hurts when he came in. Now replace Jalen Hurts with a vastly superior scrambling quarterback, Lamar Jackson. He'll have over 100 rushing yards in this game, I bet.
Yeah, you're talking Lamar Jackson is already, I would argue, the most accomplished running quarterback in NFL history. He's
Mm-hmm.
electric.
Yep.
So I mean, I look at this on the road. Baltimore is always putting up a top 10 defense. Like their cornerback tandem is just lights out. Looking at Marlon Humphrey and Marcus Peters. So great defense on the road, and then running quarterback. Yeah, I don't feel great about this one, man. Honestly, I I don't even think it's close, man. I think we lose by more than one score. Maybe we get some garbage time points.
I know Baltimore doesn't got the greatest offensive weapons outside of Lamar. I know they just lost J.K. Dobbins for the year, but I mean, Lamar Jackson's just going to create so many other opportunities for subpar players. I mean, they do got Rashad Bateman, who I personally loved. I think he was one of the most talented receivers in the draft. I was
Yeah, his
watching
tape
game
was
tape
great.
on him, and he was electric. And he'll be back. He's on the 6-week PUP. He'll be in this game. Might still be kind of green as a rookie. They added Sammy Watkins, who's Sammy. Marquise Brown, who can take top off defense, just kind of hasn't unlocked it. And Mark Andrews, as well, he's a top 5 tight end, I would say,
Yeah, Mark
in the
Andrews, a
league.
real good tight end.
And we don't do the best job covering tight ends either in our history. So George Kittle's always giving us a hard time, and
I'm hoping maybe as Savage and Amos grow and this new defense, maybe we'll have some different looks. Maybe we'll deal with tight ends better,
maybe.
hopefully. But mobile quarterbacks, I have no faith until I see it.
Yeah,
And the best thing I could hope about this game is that it's 15 weeks into the season. Maybe Lamar Jackson has been knocked out of the year by then because he runs too much.
maybe. Yeah, I just don't feel confident about this one. Um, Takes us to Christmas. Christmas Day back in Lambeau. Man, was it tough for me to make this decision? I really didn't want to give us a loss, especially on Christmas in Lambeau. I am going with the loss because I think it's going to come down to the trenches in this game. It's going to be late December. Could be snowing. Could actually be a heavy snow game. I think Cleveland's offensive line is probably the best in the NFL at this point, and they have two amazing running backs in Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Um, and they got a lot of weapons on offense as well, and they're improved on defense. I think Cleveland is. I almost don't even want to say a dark horse Super Bowl contender. I think they're just a legitimate Super Bowl contender. They added pieces on defense too, to an already really good defense. They added, um, oh my God, it's gonna slip my mind here.
David Clowney.
Yeah, they had Jadeveon Clowney to be a bookend with help me out here. What's the other one there?
Miles Garrett.
Miles Garrett.
Yeah, that could be one of the best pass rushing combos in the league, man. If
Denzel
not the best.
Ward. Their secondary is pretty good. They got Denzel Ward.
Dude, they
Um,
drafted Jeremiah Okusu Komora, who
yeah,
his tape just wowed me. I really wanted him. I was pissed when we passed him up. Yeah, Cleveland's stacked.
they
There's
are
like
stacked across the board.
I
Jarvis
look,
Landry, Odell Beckham, Donovan Peoples-Jones has been tearing it up in camp. They
dude. Then
even got
they got Austin Hooper
Hooper.
and David Nchiku.
They
Yeah, I
also have Anthony Schwartz, who many people don't know about him. He was the fastest wide receiver in the draft, ran like a 4.26 or something like that. He's buried on the depth chart because they were so stacked. Like,
yeah. I mean, honestly, so I look at Cleveland compared to the rest of the league. The Cleveland Browns are probably the most complete team in the league. And I don't think it's unfair to say that quarterback is their weak point. And I don't think Baker Mayfield is as bad a quarterback as people say. Let's not
no,
forget,
I
a
think
few
he's
years
middle
ago,
of the
he
road.
set the rookie record for touchdowns
Yeah.
before Justin Herbert came and broke it.
Yep.
Um, you know, Baker Mayfield, like, yeah, he's probably not top 5 quarterback, but he can absolutely, if Troy Aikman could win multiple Super Bowls, I think Baker Mayfield, you put a team around him, he can lead it. Um,
He
yeah,
brought
dude,
back in that one
Cleveland,
game last year against Cowboys. That comeback against Dallas last year. Oh my God! In the second half, woo,
dude,
Baker.
yeah, I mean, Cleveland, they're a stacked team. They would not surprise me at all to see them in the Super Bowl.
This could
And
be a
and
Super
it's
Bowl
cool to
matchup.
see. What's that?
This could be a Super Bowl matchup that we're
It
watching
could
here.
be,
So
man. Late season too.
yeah.
What a Christmas gift. uh, but yeah, man. I look at it like, regardless of how good they are, uh, they still don't have that big stage experience necessarily that Green Bay does. And you're talking Christmas Day late in the season. This is going to have a playoff feel to it. And I'm coming down on this one the same as I did with San Francisco and Kansas City. That I think this is going to be a case of a veteran team who they know they know what it's like to be professionals in a playoff atmosphere, playing for championships, and they have a coaching staff that's they're gonna have these guys motivated. And I think we just come out and we just want it more on Christmas Day. It's going to be a hell of a matchup, though. This is another one. Circle your calendar. This could be one of the best games of the entire NFL season all year.
Could be. I will make a bold prediction, anti-bold Packers prediction here. I think the AFC Championship game will be Buffalo and Cleveland.
Very well could be,
Yep.
man. Would not
Yep.
surprise me.
Yep.
And dude, that Cleveland running game, it scares me. Their line, and then
Their
they
line's
throw to that
awesome,
Kareem
dude.
Hunt.
And
Dude,
Chubb just signed him to extension. He's so good, and he runs hard. He reminds
yeah,
me of Adrian Peterson. Reminds me
yeah,
a lot of Adrian Peterson, and we all know, Packer fans, what Adrian Peterson has done to us over the years. And Adrian Peterson didn't have a backup running back like Kareem Hunt to just come in, and it's not even like Green Bay can like breathe a sigh of relief when Chubb goes to the sideline for like a 1-2 play breather. Like
dude,
Kareem Hunt comes in.
Kareem Hunt could be starting for, I would say, at least 20 NFL teams.
Yeah. And they still get him on the field with Chubb out there too. They use him as a extra pass catcher. I mean, it's just pick your poison with that offense. And like
Yeah,
their offense is similar to like Green Bay's offense. And I would almost, I mean, it's close, but you could almost make the argument that their offense might have a little bit more talent across the board than Green Bay's offense does. Like
yeah.
at
I
at
mean,
at
it
at, at, the, at
depend
the skill
depend it
position
depends
things.
how Beckham bounces back. I mean, he
Yeah,
really at this point he's more reputation
I
than
would agree with
production.
that. Like Devontae is clear cut a better wide receiver one than Beckham. I don't even know if Beckham would be a number one wide receiver, but I mean, I'm high on Donovan Peoples-Jones. I think he's going to be a sleeper stud who could be a post type breakout here. He's been tearing up in camp, making play after play. In training camp, I'm seeing. So yeah, it's gonna be a tough game.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll just say this before we leave it. Most people are probably highlighting the Kansas City game as like, oh, this is the hardest game. This is a Super Bowl matchup. Um, Dude, that Cleveland game, don't look
Mhm.
past it because that is going to be just as tough, if not more so. But yeah, man,
Plus,
I
plus
I think
late in the season, they're gonna want to be run like it's just gonna be a trenches game, man. Like in the snow. Yeah,
it'll be
I
a
just
fun one.
yeah. Week 17, Minnesota's coming to town. We get to spend the holidays in Lambeau and not have to do any traveling for the holidays, which is nice for Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. I think doing so will pay dividends, and Minnesota will come to hopefully a snowy Lambeau on Sunday night, and hopefully go home some losers on the flight home. I certainly think so, and you do as well. We'll be 12-4. Um, should be a good game. I mean, if it's snowing and it's a run-heavy game, Dalvin Cook will probably give us some problems. But not for nothing. WTF, man. How the F does Minnesota go from Adrian Peterson, and then get frickin' Dalvin Cook, and he's just as much of a problem basically as frickin' Adrian Peterson
Yeah,
was.
I mean they've always valued the running back position. And I'll say, the NFL, when they made the schedule, they made this a week 17 Sunday night game for a reason. It's very possible we're playing for the division in this game. I think
Yeah.
people don't give Minnesota enough credit this year. Um, but ultimately, we are the more talented team.
Yep.
Aaron Rodgers is better than Kirk Cousins.
Hmm.
Our offense
Adams is
has
better
more
than
weapons than
Jefferson.
their offense.
Our
Uh,
line's better than their line.
yeah,
Our
our
defense is
defense,
better
like I
than
think
their
their defense
defense.
bounces back, but dude,
We
I
got
mean
more playmakers.
that's the thing. We for the first time in a while, we have a lot of playmakers on defense. If Joe Barry can unlock their potential and we start creating turnovers, this could be a fun defense to watch, man.
Yeah, if you look at our defense, I mean, you could make an argument that our defensive ends aren't the greatest, and our middle linebacker might not be the greatest. But other than that, and okay, maybe our cornerback two isn't like the greatest, like we don't have a true shutdown cornerback two. Other than that, I mean, I would say we're elite at all the other positions. Safety, elite. Cornerback one, arguably the best in the business. Outside linebackers, besides maybe, I don't know, we're up there with Tampa for outside pass rushers. Uh, Defensive tackle doesn't get too much better than Kenny Clark in the middle. I mean,
Yeah,
we got studs at all three levels. So
for sure, for sure.
we,
Yeah, so I think we take care of business here and we wrap up the division.
yep, I think so as well. But we do have a week 18 this year, though.
We do.
Um, I don't think Detroit will be playing for a division title at this point in the season. Um, However, how we are how we are in the standings, if we lock up the season with that Minnesota win, where Minnesota can't overtake us, and we've already locked up a number one seed, or we're still in the hunt. If we're still in the hunt for number one seed, we'll play our starters. But there's a chance we could see this could be a Jordan Love game,
Very
maybe,
possible. Very possible. And you
potentially.
know what? Even if it is Jordan Love, I think we still win.
Hey,
I would love to see the Jordan Love audition here, and he lights Detroit up. Man,
hey,
that would be so fun.
Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love, Kurt Bankirk don't matter. Packers still dropping 30 on Detroit. Yeah, we're gonna pick up the W here, even though it's in Detroit. Don't care if it's Jordan Love or Aaron Rodgers. We'll get the W here. Love has moved the ball well in preseason. I would expect him to move the ball well with a better offense around him than the backups as well. So
Yeah, and I mean, I'll say this: I like the Dan Campbell hire as head coach for Detroit, and I think he's going to have them playing very tough at this point in the season.
yeah,
I don't think this game will be a gimme, but it just the talent gap is too big, man.
Detroit
We're
plays
better
us
than them
tough,
at
but
pretty
yeah,
much every level of football.
hmm
I think we take it hands down.
I think so as well. So to give everyone a quick breakdown of our wins and losses. I mean, there was I think three games here, 3 or 4 games where we kind of differed, but in the end, just like last year, we came with the same. No, didn't last year we were a little bit more pessimistic on our chances. We thought we were going to lose more than we didn't think we were going to go 13-3. So 11 and
I
10
don't
and
recall, to
6.
be honest, but
We both said 10 and 6. I do
are you sure?
remember 10 and
Oh,
6 or
well,
11 and 5.
yeah. I
One
mean,
of the two.
regardless, we're both predicting 3 years
13
in a
and
row
4.
now of 13 win teams. Um, which I mean, at this point, Matt LaFleur, I think he's earned that kind of expectation. Maybe not on the national stage, people aren't trusting him like that yet. But after 2 years in a row of this, as a Packers fan, I need to start giving him the benefit of the
Yeah.
doubt for those Kansas City games, for those Cleveland games,
Yeah.
the San Francisco games. I think Lafleur and Rodgers, they know this is the last go around, and it's going to be a championship caliber Green Bay team this year.
Hey, not just that, give him the credit for outdueling his buddy there, Sean McVay, in the NFC conference game last year too. I mean, we took care of business in that game.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, for sure.
and if it wasn't for execution, I mean, it wasn't Matt LaFleur's fault that we didn't win. We didn't beat Tampa in the NFC Championship game. Uh, he called the plays, but he's not the one who fumbled the ball, or he didn't call the
Yeah,
defensive plays that gave it up either.
and let's not even get into Tampa. We don't need to bring that up. There are
Anyway,
too many mistakes, too many
anyways,
errors.
is 13-4 going to be good enough to win? It will be good enough to win the division. It will be enough to get number one seed. You think?
Well, that's the question. Shall we run real quickly, rapid fire, impulse decision through each division and just see,
Sure.
who we think is the number one team in that division and what their record is, and then we'll see
All
how the
right.
seeding shakes out.
All right, Tampa. So I'm just gonna run just without overthinking it too much. Just win, 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 win.
Wait. Where's you
Oh,
don't have Tampa up on the screen right now. Can you bring it up?
oh, yeah. I will switch it. I will stop screen share. I will do this. Here we go. Yeah.
Okay.
So okay. So Dallas win. Atlanta win. Rams at Rams. Yeah, still probably a win.
Yep.
Patriots, they'll probably kill the Patriots. Dolphins, yeah, they'll probably beat the Dolphins. Eagles, yes, I would hope so. Bears, yes.
Yep. So,
Saints played them tough last year. It's at New Orleans. They blew them out twice. I don't know. That one could go with let's just say they split with New Orleans because they're in the division. So we'll give them the loss for that one. Watch the football team. Um,
I call that a win.
when Giants, they'll probably kill the Giants. Colts are sneaky good, but I don't know if they can beat the Bucks. Man, the Bucks got an easy ass schedule.
Yeah.
Probably a win. Atlanta's rebuilding right now, so probably a win. The Bills, I think the Bills could take
Bills.
them.
This could be a good one, man.
Yeah,
So
you know what?
it
I'll give
does
Buffalo a win.
it's in Tampa. Um,
On the
hmm.
12th, we're gonna be in. You know what? Maybe we might have to find a local watering hole in Green Bay and check this game out quickly. That's gonna be a great game to watch, man.
Shit, man. Yeah, I mean, so this is probably the
This is probably the
most
toughest
up.
team they have on the whole
Yeah.
schedule.
So I mean, let's say this: Buffalo defense improves from what it was last year. Um, Tampa, I'm gonna say they don't have as good of injury luck. Like I know they suffered some injuries last year, but they didn't have anything like devastating. I'm gonna say at this point in the year, I think Buffalo takes that.
Saints, I gave the Saints the win on the other one, so they probably win that one. Panthers, I would expect them to beat the Panthers. The Jets are terrible. They'll kill the Jets, and the Panthers again in Tampa. They'll probably win that one.
Jesus, dude,
Like
that
there's
is
a
an
there's a
easy final month.
dude. The only I mean the Rams are not bad, and the Cowboys will be all right.
Yeah, that's an
Man,
easy ass schedule,
man,
dude.
there's a chance that Tampa could only lose like one or two games all season if they stay healthy.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like, there's a chance they could go undefeated in the regular
Yeah, there
season.
is. There's no team that like the Bills are probably their toughest matchup, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Bills, Rams, and Saints,
I do think
and
Dallas, a fresh Dallas team without injuries,
yeah, dude,
could be
like
tough for them. But
maybe Bill Belichick dials up some magic on Tom Brady and knowing him so well. But yeah, dude, looking at the schedule, yeah, I think they're like a two-loss team, so they probably beat us for number one seed.
probably, which means we would then the road to the Super Bowl would have to run through Tampa. which
But we'll certainly
sucks.
be more battle tested than them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is what it is. Uh, I feel like it's almost a dud looking at the other ones now, but we'll give it a go. So the Rams will be taking on. Wait a minute. Is that is this this year? That's got to be no, this is last year's. I was gonna say because Dallas is playing Tampa in week 1. All
Yeah.
right, let's look up. There we go. So
The Bears.
playing the Bears, that'll probably be
That's an LA
the
win.
win. Yeah. Colts.
Wentz and Nelson are still hurt. Even if they come
Yeah,
back, they're not fully
it's at the
healthy. So
Colts.
I
So
call it an
Rams. That's a
LA win.
loss probably for them. Cardinals. I think Cardinals probably could win that one.
It's in LA though.
I think Cardinals and Rams will split. They're in the same division,
Yeah,
so they'll split 1-1. And I think Seahawks and Rams will probably split 1-1 too.
I think that's a fair assessment.
So right there, we're already at 3 losses for
Yeah.
LA. So we'll see if Giants, they should beat the Giants. Lions, they'll beat the Lions. Texans, they'll dismantle the Texans. Every team will dismantle them. Titans.
Ooh, that could be a good matchup actually.
Yeah. Let's see. Running. Derrick Henry could do some damage. I'm gonna I'm gonna give LA the win on that one, but
I would
not
probably
100%.
also give it to LA.
Oh, I forgot. Are they also in San Francisco's division?
Yep.
I bet they go 1-1 with San Francisco. All right, so there's 4 losses on the season for them. Uh, we said they're going to lose that
I
one, so
think they
there's
lose to
5
us.
losses. They'll probably beat Jacksonville. We went 1-1, so we'll win that one, win that one. Vikings, you
Dude,
think they beat
at
the Vikings?
Minnesota, that's a tough matchup.
Could lose that one because so that could be 6.
Dude, and then followed up by at Baltimore?
So it could
Oh,
be
Jesus
7.
Christ. They have a brutal close to the season, man.
Yeah, they could be a 6 or 7 lose team. And honestly, based on some of the tough division they're in, they might not even make the playoffs.
It's possible, dude. That
Depends.
division's gonna eat each other alive.
I would not want to play in that division. That's all I know. That's easily the toughest division in the NFL this season.
All right. So far, I feel good about finishing better than the Rams.
Yeah.
Um, Bucks, that's more dicey. Let's take a look at the Vikings, our main divisional competition.
At Cincy, start the season,
Say that's a win for the
probably.
Vikings.
At Arizona. I'm going to give Arizona the win on that one.
I will as well.
Yeah. Seattle.
Whew.
Mm,
Ooh, that's a tough one.
you know what?
Uh,
I think I'm going to give that one to Seattle based off the receivers. I think DK could probably
all right. So we
take down Patrick
same
Peterson.
wavelength right there. I was thinking Minnesota secondary is still going to be gelling, and those Seattle receivers are going to eat.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give Seattle the win out. So there's 2 losses. Browns, is that home? That is a home game, but damn, those Browns are good though.
I
I
think
think
Cleveland wins.
so. There's 3 losses. That could be 1-3 on the season for them to start off. Detroit will probably be Detroit 2-3 at Carolina.
They probably win
Yeah,
there.
yeah, 3-3. Dallas, not it's home. Dallas,
Sunday night game.
yeah,
That could be a good game there.
it could go
Um,
either way, man. It can go either way.
let's give them the benefit of the doubt and
I
say they
think I
win.
think Minnesota will have some sneaky wins, so we'll say 4-3. Not gonna probably beat the Ravens though, so 4-4, personally speaking, unless you got something else to say.
I think they match up well with the Ravens. But being on the road, I'm gonna give it to the Ravens. So that's
I'm gonna
4
say
losses.
one of these, so we basically went 1-1 between these two. Like they could be interchanged, so 4-4. Chargers, Chargers, they're getting there, but I don't think they're there yet. It'll be a good game though.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give them the win, 5-4. Green Bay not win that game. 5-5. No, you have them winning that game though, didn't you?
No, no. So I had them losing in Minnesota, but winning in Green Bay. I think you had us winning both.
Yes, I did have to win both. So that was the. This is the home game for them.
Yeah. So let's just say they win it, just to give them a chance
So is
here.
it six
They
and
follow
four?
that up by going to San Francisco.
Probably losing 6-5. 7-5. You think they beat the Steelers?
Steelers, Bears, Rams, Green Bay, Bear. All right, fuck yeah, dude. Minnesota
No,
ain't making the playoffs.
no. And that takes us to our last one that we feel like might be a legitimate threat. Threat would be the Cowboys. So they start with Tampa. We said loss. Chargers, they'll probably win that one. Eagles, they should win that one. 2-1. Just stop me if you got a different opinion.
Yeah.
Carolina, yeah, they'll probably win that one. 3-1. Giants will kill them. 4-1. Patriots will play them tougher than probably many would expect in New England. I'll still give Dallas the win on that one though. 4-1. At Minnesota, I think we gave the
I
win
think
to
we gave
Dallas.
Minnesota the win
Did
here,
we?
but
So
it's
5-2. But we
really
said it could
toss
go
up.
either way though.
Yeah.
Um, so okay, 5-2. Denver,
They'll win against them.
yeah, 6-2. They'll beat the Falcons, who are still rebuilding. I think 7-2.
No, they're
Probably
losing to the
lose
Chiefs.
7-3.
Ooh,
Raiders,
I like this matchup.
Dallas and Oakland. It's in
In
Dallas.
Dallas.
Thursday night game. So Raiders are on the road on a short week. Probably going Dallas.
I guess let's give it to Dallas just to see how it shakes out with a
So we're
favorable
so,
look for
so,
them.
so that would be 8-3. At the Saints, Saints usually play them pretty tough. And it's in New Orleans.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say they just came off of an iffy win the week before.
Holy shit, they got two
Um,
back-to-back Thursdays.
yeah, I'll say they lose to New Orleans.
All right, so that'd be 8-4.
I
Washington
also I
football
think they're
team.
losing at least one divisional game, and
Yeah,
at
I think.
Washington seems
Yeah,
like
I
a
would
good
agree
one.
that. So 8-5. Probably beating the Giants again. 9-5. Splitting series with them, so it'd be 10-5. Cardinals
Ooh, that could be a good matchup there.
home game. Arizona's coming to Dallas. Um,
I think Arizona's the better team though.
Man, Dallas got some fast ass linebackers that probably play some
Yeah, but
QB
do they have the
QB game.
secondary to contain DeAndre Hopkins and AJ
Yeah, good
Green?
point. All right, Arizona. You're right. You just sway my mind with it, but just saying DeAndre Hopkins. I forgot what the record I was at though.
I think they're up to 6 losses now.
Yeah, and let's say they could probably beat that. So we're looking at 5 or 6 losses
Yeah.
for
So
Dallas,
honestly,
which
like going through the divisions, man, the only team that I really think we're competing with for the number one seed is the Bucks, and their schedule is easier for sure, but you never know how injury luck works
yeah, I
out
was
or
gonna
anything like
say
that.
I feel like if Tampa stays healthy, they got a great shot at the number one seed. I mean, I don't want to wish anyone to get hurt, but it's probably gonna take some injuries for Tampa to truly falter.
Yeah,
And
I mean, like looking at their schedule, any teams where like we feel like there's a legit like kind of toss up chance, let's just try to give them the victory. So let's say the Rams, hell, I'll even say the Patriots. I'll say Belichick pulls out some magic.
Dallas could pull out a W on them.
Dallas, Buffalo, and one Saints game. So I would say maximum worst case scenario, Tampa loses 5 games. Um, More than likely, it's you know maybe 2 or 3 games.
Yeah, I think realistically I mean, we could kind of split the difference there on that and say worst case scenario, like looking at that way, 5 games like benefit of the doubt, I think five losses. When we first went through it, we're like Buffalo's really the only serious one we thought. So why not split the difference and do 3 losses then, so that we're looking at 14-3, and we were at 13-4.
13-4.
I mean, yeah, there's a chance that come a snowy January 9th, we're fucking really rooting for the Carolina Panthers. Like,
Hey, I mean, I will say that's tough playing same divisional opponent twice within 3 weeks. That's
yeah,
tough for sure. But yeah, man, I don't know. I'll I guess I'm gonna be rooting for Dallas when the season starts this Thursday.
yeah. All right, go Dallas. All right, so any closing thoughts before we close it up?
No, man, just pretty much. I think we have a great looking team this year, and
Mm-hmm.
this is the shot, man. This is the year if we
That
want to see another Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers.
probably the last dance. So, hey, go Pack Go! It's gonna be a fun ride. Can't wait to watch it with you guys.
Can't wait for December 12th.